Oh, sorry, I was dancing the intro. Hey guys, welcome back to the next episode of A Conversation with Kely, episode 100 something. We're talking about the next episode of Ascendance Live, as always. That's what we've been doing. We're gonna cover the next episode. We've been really fucking busy this last week and a half. We had an org that started, and we just had no time to get anything done. But thankfully, we were able to get this next episode done. And with me, as always, is my lovely and beautiful co-host, Allie. How are you doing today?
I've been good. The last couple of days, I've been training as a cross-training as a cashier at work, and I'm off tomorrow. Well, yeah, today it'd be today for you, but it's still Monday for me for another hour.
Yeah,
but I'm off Tuesday, but then
I'm usually off Tuesdays.
But I work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday as well for the cross-training, and then after that, I have the weekend off, and then it's our trip.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend. Speaking of the weekend, I went to see him recently at fucking MetLife Stadium. So there you go. That was fun. Anyway, we're not here to talk about some concert I saw. We're here to talk about Ascendance Live, Season 2, Episode 5. There's not much to talk about in this episode, to be honest.
There wasn't.
Mainly because this episode, I think, was very reminiscent of an episode last season where the majority of it was just picking teams and then a challenge, and then they watched like a 24-hour video. Except I think we can both agree, I did not expect it to come this early in the season. I thought for sure we'd get it like the beginning of Jury, but no, we're already getting a double next week, and that's insane to me.
I know, it's crazy. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm very interested in seeing how that's going to play out, but we'll get into all of that. Let's get into this episode and what we do have, because there is quite a little bit of stuff to talk about.
All right.
So we see that Jodely is very happy to have survived the round, and Paul is feeling really bad going for Christopher last round because of how nice of a guy that he really did seem. And I liked this a lot because I feel like Paul has been kind of getting that like villain edit of sorts where Paul's kind of seen as like this guy that's, you know, very much a schemer, but we got to see there's a person underneath all of that. There's a person, he's, you know, he cares about people's emotions. He's empathetic in that way. And we definitely did get to see that with Paul here. So, and I liked that a lot.
Oh, it's so great.
So the big thing going on in this episode is that Wesley talks about how everyone is going for Melissa this round, and he really doesn't want to do that. And he later lets Melissa know that she needs to win this challenge, no matter what. Melissa's pretty much public enemy number one at this point.
She is.
I feel like from the beginning, since Ryan kind of threw her under the bus, like she just has constantly been getting her name thrown out left and right.
Yeah, I think it's probably because she's probably just very likable, and they think she's just like this social threat.
She's very likable. She has a lot of people on her side, and I don't know how well she's going to do. I can tell you that she's moving this round.
I could see her really relaxed, but I could also see her like talking to people and maybe convincing them to go for something else.
See her as like first juror at this point. I think that's where she's going to go. Because I feel like they're going to try to go for her the entire like pre-jury, and it's not going to happen. And then once we get to jury, I feel like she's going to go there. So,
honestly, I can see that. That's a good thing.
Yeah. So Papa then announces the captain's challenge, which is Tetris. However, for this round, only one person is going to win captain. And that was pretty much an indication of what was going to end up happening for this round. And in a surprising turn of events, Melissa does ultimately win this comp. And we don't hear a single peep from anyone. Nobody is excited for her. And immediately she realizes just how bad of a position that she's really in. I don't think we've seen this before. Where like literally nobody is excited for someone to have won captain. It was very interesting to see play out.
We're all like very
collective, just the collective silence from everyone.
Yeah, they're like scared of her. They're like, she needs to go.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So we do get the teams here, and Melissa obviously does pick the teams. We have Hot Girl Chris, Jake, Kennedy, Carson, Marvin, Wesley, and Paul on one team. And then you have Drew, Zoe, Erica, Taisha, Jodalie, Keaton, and Thomas on the other, which those are the teams that we do have. Really not surprising the way that she kind of put them together, because she put like her friends on one team and the people she doesn't like on the other team, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are our teams for the round.
All right. They are told this round will be a double.
Yes, which we did talk about.
Very excited for. It could literally go any way, because this season is just very like
honestly,
unpredictable. And
I mean, I think I have an idea of what one team is gonna do. I don't know what the other team is gonna do.
Yeah, we'll see. Drew is not happy to hear this because he is working with basically everyone on his team in some way, and he is unsure of who he would even cut. Which is true.
I mean, Drew,
a really good spot.
Drew is in one of the best positions, I think, in the game right now. And this is like a good position to be in. It's not a good position to be in this early on, where you're like, I have all these people, I need to cut somebody. I feel like Drew is in a position where he's going to get blood on his hands no matter what. And he's just literally kind of like...
He's really got to show his cards here.
Yeah, he just kind of needs to accept that that's what's going to happen. There's not much that he can really do about it. But I do think that Drew is a good enough social player to where he can come out of the week not completely unscathed, but not completely like, next to go either,
Yeah,
so.
for sure. Agreed. Thomas doesn't know what to make of this either.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him, because I was not expecting a double this early on.
I know, it's like crazy.
Literally only round 4.
It's going to be very chaotic. Sure. The next team challenge is announced, and it's the challenge where they will all have to fill up a 2-liter bottle and have to run back and forth.
And so what I liked about this challenge in particular is that because of the time of year that this was filmed in like March, I believe, they can't use the pool this time around. Season 1, they talked about this in the confessionals. Like they got to use the pool, so it was much easier to like maneuver water into it and things like that. They had somebody calling out for them, just bringing water back and forth. This time around, they can't do that. So it's more of like this relay thing, and it's a lot more like physically laboring. I feel like like this is a lot more like of a endurance type thing.
It really is. And I really like this challenge. It was just
it really does show how you change one thing in a challenge, it's completely different. And that's something that I did enjoy seeing, because they are reusing a lot of comms from last season, but because of the time of year it is, some things are slightly different. And I think this is probably the most blatant example of it yet.
Oh, I agree, honestly.
Yeah.
Jake sees Melissa look at him, and is wondering what it could possibly mean if she wanted to take him or anything.
I feel like everyone is just kind of like, when Melissa walks into a room, they just immediately are like, yeah, she's targeting me. Like they're just kind of like under that assumption at this point. And she's not in the greatest spot, even after winning.
Like right now, she can't catch a break.
No, she really can't.
Like she needed this comp.
Yeah, yeah.
Marvin is confused by the teams Melissa picked, with her putting all her friends on one team and the rest that don't like her on the same team.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even realize that until Marvin said it, and I was like, yeah, this was really not well thought out. What she should have definitely done was like divide up her friends, so like she isn't losing an ally. Because here's the thing. Yeah. By putting all your friends on one tribe, you are assuring that you are losing an ally this round. And I think what she needed to do was mix it up a bit, put some of them on one team, put some of them on the other. And I think she would have been a little bit better, suited heading into the following weeks. But
I totally agree with that.
We'll have to see. Maybe it's not going to be as pressing of an issue as we think it is. But right now, I think this could really like make or break her game.
I think so too. It's either going to be really good or really bad for her, because maybe she could come back and like get people to trust her again, but who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
Melissa talks to Paul and says she can't possibly have an alliance with everyone in the house, and she feels chaos is better for her game overall.
I would agree. I think the most chaotic, the better, because the more chaotic she makes things, the more people aren't going to be thinking of her. They're going to want to go after each other. So I think this was good. I don't think this was a great conversation with Paul, though. Like, this doesn't really seem to change much when it comes to Paul. He still is very much after her, and I don't think that's gonna change much after this.
Yeah, Paul's in a really good spot. Like, he's playing so well.
He really is. He really is.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it'd be kind of cool if, like, maybe Paul and Melissa teamed up. Who knows?
We'll see. There's still time to do that. It's a very open game right now.
It's still early.
Yeah.
Drew and Zoe talk about who they feel close with, and it seems like he agrees with her on Thomas and Taisha.
If these four, like, turn into like a strong Four of Swords, I'm definitely here for it. I think that something we've talked about before is that Zoe is like very good at adapting. And I think this is exactly the kind of like adaptability that she needs to do. Like, she's already good with Taisha, pulling Thomas, pulling Drew. I think this is a really strong four. And I think that could definitely take all of them far. I think the only person who really doesn't need it is Drew, because he already has those really good connections. But like Thomas, Taisha, Zoe, like I think this could be a really strong four for sure.
Yeah, honestly, because like Taisha and Zoe are very adaptable, and then Taisha is very calculated. She's in such a good spot. Thomas is actually in a good spot too. He's being very low key. He's like under the radar.
Yeah.
And then Drew is just like very social and everything. So it's like this alliance could really dominate.
We'll see if they do, because that's really everything we get in terms of strategy in this episode. Most of that's going to be in the next one. The rest of this episode is basically the comp. We see 3 pre-jurors eliminated. I didn't understand what they were doing here. They like drew different names. Were they figuring out like who everyone's going to face against? Like, I didn't really understand what they were doing when it came to that. So maybe like, if players, anyone hit us up, what were they doing here? Because I didn't really understand it. They do all run back and forth filling the bottle, and fellow applause alumni Marvin, King Marvin, ends up beasting this comp, and he's immune for the round. Did a really great job. I mean, it's not surprising because Marvin is, like they said, a military man, so he's used to these kind of things, but he really did kill this challenge.
He really did so well. Like, he's honestly in a good spot too.
Yeah. Now, Drew is the other person to have won this challenge. And I'll just be honest, I don't think that this was good that he won this, because now it seems like in the episode, they talk about how they didn't know that Drew had this like physical side in him. And that's something that could potentially hurt him in the next like couple weeks. So I think Drew, he just needs to be careful when it comes to winning comps, because he is in a really good spot right now socially. He has that pendant, which nobody else knows about. Now he's won a physical comp. His resume is really building early on, and I think what he needs to do right now is not win as many comps. And I think if he does that, I think he'll probably be in a better spot, because I think the more comps he wins, the more of his threat level really does increase.
Yeah, because I feel like he's the kind of person who needs to kind of just like throw the comps, or just like do like just be kind of in the middle. Like he doesn't really need them.
I mean, Drew might be in the best position right now socially. I really do think he is. It's really just going to come down to how he navigates this round, because it could potentially hurt him.
Yeah, like it could either be really good or really bad.
Yeah. So Paul isn't surprised by Marvin, but didn't anticipate how good Drew would be at physical stuff. Jodie is very much not happy that Drew won, but feels that since Thomas doesn't have immunity, that he's going to be the easy vote here. They plan to go for Thomas. They want Thomas out. I don't know if it's going to be that straightforward.
I don't think so either.
I will say Thomas has not had quite as much going on in terms of like content. So that could be why. Yeah, we haven't really seen a lot with Thomas. So I don't know. Because I look at this group, and I can tell you right now, Erica's not going to go. There's no way that would happen. Taisha's not going to go. Zoe's not going to go. I don't see that happening. The people I could see going here on this group, at least, we have Jodie, who could potentially go because Jodie's name was out there the last round. And also Keaton. And Keaton just hasn't been able to catch a break in this game. His name is thrown out constantly.
Yeah, Keaton's not really like in the best social position.
He's not. He's not really in the greatest social spot at all, actually. So I don't know. I think it's going to be one. I do think there's a possibility that Thomas could leave, but I think they could also like pull a fast one on like Jodali or Keaton. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen here. But I don't think it's quite as straightforward as Jodali implies. As far as the other team goes, I honestly don't know who would leave on that. I think if I had to guess, I think the person that's the safest is probably Kennedy. I don't see anyone on that team really going for her. I think Hawk Girl Chris is probably fine too. I don't see anyone going for Hawk Girl Chris. Paul, I think, is probably okay. I think it's between like Wesley and Jake. I think one of them is probably going.
Wesley hasn't had much of an edit.
Well, he also hasn't been able to catch a break either. Like his name's been out a lot. And I think also, so the other thing I think that could really hurt Wesley is that he was the most vocal in like trying to push against Melissa's name. If he really continues to do that and like hammers it home to people, are really going to get sick of it. Something you have
they're gonna be like, we can keep Melissa. Let's just get rid of her allies.
Well, I think the thing with Wesley is that like he needs to recognize that like while he wants to keep her around, sometimes you just have to, kind of settle on things. And I think if people want to go for Melissa, one, she's immune this round, so it doesn't matter that much. Two, I think that, I think for Wesley right now, his best move is to lie low. And I think if he's able to do that, I think he'll be okay. I just don't know if he will. So we'll have to see. So either way, they all plan to strategize all night. I was expecting to see like an overnight video, but I guess we'll see that jury. The way this episode ended was interesting. We finally got to see the escape room, the blue team and the other team captains. I don't know why we didn't see this in like episode 3, because they literally went to this escape room back in episode 2. So I don't know why it took us like 3 episodes to see it. But I enjoyed getting to see this finally. It was cool that they broke out with 32 minutes. From what I understand, at least what they said in the episode, it's like the fastest time anyone's broke out of that escape room. So that's pretty cool the way that turned out. I cannot relate. You're talking to the couple that took 7 fucking hints to solve 1 puzzle. So we very much cannot relate to that. But good for them.
I literally love escape rooms so much. And literally that's so good for them. And I just think this was such a fun way to end it.
It was an interesting way to end it.
It was interesting, but it was fun.
It was fun. I just felt like it was kind of randomly inserted into this episode.
Well,
I would have much rather had it like episode 3 or 4. You could have crammed it in with like the kind of like how they did the Edmund segment in episode 2. You could have kind of like crammed it in the beginning there. It just felt kind of weird to just put it here. It seemed like they just needed something to end the episode with. And they just put that there. But next week, probably going to have a lot more to talk about because we're going to have a double. 2 people are going to leave. And I think it's really going to be an indication of what this game really is going to look like. There's still a lot of people left. And I think having a few, because we're going to be down to 13, I believe, after this. And I think, having fewer people in the game, it's really going to show like, what is this season going to turn out like? Who is really going to get to the end here? Who's in the best position? I think we're going to get an idea of that. This
is going to be like a turning point.
Definitely. But other than that, that's really it when it comes to our recap this week. We do have some things to plug. First of all, gotta plug it. Like we said, Applause has started up, and it's really fun so far. I'm really enjoying it.
It's so crazy and chaotic and super fun, and I'm just enjoying it a lot.
Yeah, we got a great cast. It's Hairspray themed. If you have any interest in watching the Applause Survivor Productions, we post all kinds of stuff there. Tribals unlisted, of course, challenge results, stuff like that. You can see all that fun stuff over there. Anything else? Oh, Claim to Fame. We are talking about that.
We're gonna watch the second episode, and then we're just gonna cover both the first two.
Yeah, so we already watched the first episode. We just didn't get a chance to review it yet, but we did watch it. We're gonna do the first two episodes, like Ali said. Let's address the elephant in the room. BB24. We're not covering it. We're not covering it. This season has gone down a very dark path, I think, in a direction that just really makes it hard to watch, and
it really does.
The kind of stuff that's going on, it's just not really fun to talk about. It's not something that I want to like devote hours of time to.
I don't either.
I think that we'll probably end up doing a season review by the end because we will catch up if necessary.
We might catch up just one day, but we'll see.
With the way things are going, though, like I don't really have any real.
I mean, really, like the only way technically we'd only catch up for Taylor.
Pretty much, yeah. At this point, Stop fucking bullying Taylor Hale. She did nothing to you.
She did nothing at all.
She did nothing, and
she's a very kind individual.
Yeah, literally, it's ridiculous. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to focus on Ascendance. With a show that we are covering right now because it is really well done. It's stuff that we do. It's fun stuff to talk about.
Also, shout out to Applause alumni Keaton and Marvin.
Yes. Shout out to both of them. Other than that, though, that's it for our review of this week's episode of Ascendance Live. The next episode we might be doing we might be doing it when we're in Orlando because I think that's when we'll probably end up getting it done. Why did you just click that?
I did not mean to do that.
That is not a comment. Anyways, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And remember, couples who podcast together stay together. Love you guys.
Love you guys.